Hi everyone, I'm April and you're watching the Tangled Cat Speaks. And today is December 30th, 2018. So this is going to be the last podcast I do for 2018. So this means that I have officially been doing this for 1 year. My very first episode was the first week in January. So it's been a year. I can't believe it. I've been doing this for an entire year. That's crazy. I never thought that I would continue doing this, much less get started doing it. I was so nervous, and I still get nervous. But here I am 1 year later, and I'm still doing it, and I'm having so much fun. And I just want to thank everybody that's comes around and spends time with me, watching me, listening to me, going through all of this journey with me, and I appreciate it so much. So that being said, if you are new, just a little bit about myself again. I am in Rio Rancho, New Mexico, which is just outside to the north and west of Albuquerque. I am a knitter and a crocheter. If you need to or would like to get a hold of me on any social media, I am the Tangled Cat on Instagram, Twitter, and on Ravelry. So let's talk about the big thing. The big thing. I'm just pleased. I'm super excited. I finally finished the Adventurous wrap by Amba O'Brien, and I was so happy, but I did have an issue. So this is my finished wrap, and it's kind of big, so I'll try to post a picture of it that'll show it off a little bit better. But this is it, and I love it. It came out so pretty, and it's a nice size, and it just wraps around so well. And look at all those colors, and it has been snowy and gray and dark lately, and I love it. I love it so much, and I've gotten so many compliments on this. But it looks great now. It looks wonderful now, and I am super happy. But when I first got to the point where I needed to sew the two, or not sew, to do the 3 needle bind off for the 2 pieces, I just grabbed them, made sure that it was the 2 ends with the open stitches, and just went to town. And then it wasn't until I literally was all through the whole process, I had sewn it all together, that I had sewn them wrong. So I had one right side and one wrong side facing, which ended up making one huge triangle instead of the parallelogram that it's supposed to be. So I had to go and put it in timeout because I was very frustrated with myself, because I just was so happy. It was, gosh, maybe about 10 or 11 at night, and I was about to go to bed, and I was tired, and I was already late for my bed because I knew I had to go to work in the morning, and I was just like, nope, I'm not going to bed till I get this done. So I went ahead and I did it, but I didn't fully read the instructions. I just kind of said, oh, look, it says wrong ends together, or the live stitches together and 3 needle bind off. Okay, I kind of just skimmed it. I didn't read it. And yeah, I put them wrong. And at first I thought, well, I'm just going to leave it. It's okay. I can live with it. I like triangle shawls. It's fine. It's fine. But I couldn't. The next morning I got up and I was like, nope, I can't do it. So I took it with me to work, and on some downtime, free breaks and whatever, lunchtime, I just undid it, slowly got all of the 173 stitches from this side, 173 stitches from that side, all back on the respective needles, and then did the 3 needle bind off again correctly this time. So it took me a little bit. I thought I could live with it, but I couldn't. And I'm glad that I didn't, because I really love the finished product. I'm so happy. But yeah, I was just kicking myself like, oh, you're so stupid. One little thing, just lay it out No, I didn't lay it out. I just got the 2 needles and just went and didn't even think that I should make sure they were facing the right direction. It didn't even go through my head. So yeah, that was so silly of me. And but I'm glad that I took the time to rip it out, because I don't usually rip things out. Usually I'm just like, whatever, I'll just stick with it. Just keep going and whatever, live with it. No, I had to, and I'm so glad that I did, because I adore this thing. And I've got quite a bit of each mini skein left. So I'm going to go through and put them all into my memory blanket, which will take some time. And then I'm definitely going to have plenty of a lot of those colors left. I think there might only be 2 that I totally run out of putting them in the cozy memory blanket, but everything else I'm going to have. So I'm going to try to make a pair of scrappy socks, and I'm going to do them toe up and just keep going until I run out. So that's what I want to do. I'm going to try to do that as random as I can, so it's not really necessarily a fade like how it ended up in the wrap, but that's my plan. I'm going to use those for some scrappy socks. So let's move on to Christmas. I didn't podcast last week. I was just so caught up in the holidays and spending time with family and just really taking some me time, just being mindful of how I feel and taking some time away from all of these things that I always feel like I have to do. And so, you know, there were things that I didn't do. I didn't podcast. I didn't even read a lot. I never do chores, but I didn't do some of the chores that I should have done, which I finally got caught up on that. But there was a couple of days where I just didn't feel like I could do anything. I just needed a break. So I didn't do a whole lot, and I didn't podcast. So that's why I wasn't here last week, but I'm here now. So I want to share some of the things that I got for Christmas. Most of these I got for myself. Actually, it's really just 4 things. Let's start with the yarn. The first thing that I got, I'm going to show you, is this bag came with, I ordered it from yarn.com, and I'll put a picture here of the entire kit, but what it is, well, it's not a kit, it's like a set of, I don't know how to pronounce it, I just say sheepies, but I don't know if that's an I or a J. Sheepies Katona. These are mini skeins. These are 10 grams each, and what it is mercerized cotton. And I have never used mercerized cotton before, but I fell in love with the kit. And I don't know what I was looking at. Oh, I know what I was looking at. Somebody on one of the other podcasts was doing a Vlogmas. For the life of me, I can't think of who it was. But she was doing her Advent, and her Advent was, oh gosh, I think it was opal yarns. And they were these tiny little skeins. And I went looking, because, you know, that's what I do. I had to look for something, and I couldn't find that particular one. But I found these, and I fell in love with them. They're adorable. They are so cute, and there's 109 different colors. I was so in love, and I thought I have to use every single one of them. 109 colors, I have to use every single one of them in one project. So that's what I decided to start after I finished the wrap. This is what I started. It had just come in the mail just after I finished, like a couple of days after I finished the wrap. These came in, and I was so super excited, and I grabbed my favorite G crochet hook, and this is in one. I think I showed these early on in the podcast. These were custom made for me, gosh, almost 25 years ago, and I don't even remember who the person was that I ordered them from online. This was way back when, and she has my name on there. then it says, "The Lord provides." It's a beautiful hummingbird because I adore hummingbirds. And then on the bottom is stamped the size. So this is a G, and I can't remember the millimeter right now. And I had all the way from G to, I think, M, something like that. They're really fat. But I broke the eye. The eye hook was the one that I used the most, and that one just snapped. I had left it sitting on the couch one day, and my son, gosh, this was ages ago, he was still a toddler, had gotten a hold of it and just snapped it. And because the fatter sizes, the bigger sizes, they're pretty similar to what this handle size is, so they don't snap as easily. But anything from, I would say, the J down to the G are, it's very risky. So what I've been doing is I got a set of those DPN holders, and you can put your socks in them. Well, I got a set, there's 2 of them that you can actually use as the sock holder, and then this one is just to hold the DPNs. There's no slot to hold a work in progress coming out of it. But I grabbed that, and it just happens to be the perfect size. Oh, wrong side. I can put my needle in and put it in there, and I don't have to worry about it breaking while it's rolling around in my bag or anything. So that's what I've been doing. And what I have been working on is just a simple half double crochet blanket. It's very colorful and I love it. This is what I got so far. And as you can see, especially right up in here, you can see I'm just, whenever the little tiny skein ends, I add the next color. And I'm not caring about where I am in the row. I don't want any leftovers. I just want it all in the blanket. So I'm just going and going and going and totally enjoying myself. And this is going to be huge because this is just about my wingspan. Just under. So I would say this is about, let's see, I'm 63, my wingspan is about 63 inches. And this is just under that. So this is probably about 60 inches wide. And based on some very simple, crude math, I'm thinking this is going to be about 70 inches long. We'll see. I did the, oh my gosh, what's the word? The chainless foundation for half double crochet, and I found somebody here on YouTube that had a video of it, so that really helped. And I'll put the person that I used their video, I'll put that up here. But that's all I've been doing. It's 150 stitches across, and in my gauge that ends up being about 63, or about 60 inches. And I'm just totally grabbing them at random. So I'm glad that, because this bag came with the set, and I opened the box and I sat there and I oohed and awed and I cuddled all of the little minis and I love them. And then I thought, how am I going to put these in there? And I thought, okay, because if you look at them, they have their colors and they're not names, they're all numbers. So this particular purple is 113. I actually thought about getting all of them and putting them in numerical order. And then I thought, no, that's crazy. That's very crazy. And I thought, okay, I could do a rainbow or I could do some sort of fade. And I'm like, no, that's crazy too. No, random. You need to be random. Just be random. It's easier. So I can't see through this bag. So what I've been doing is, you know, just kind of rummaging around in there, not looking, and then whatever happens to come up next is what I'm using. So that's how it's been going so far. So far, so good. Super excited, and it's cotton, and it's quite open and meshy, so it's going to be a nice, just a throw for the living room. I don't keep my house really cold or anything, so it'll just be nice to throw across myself while I'm watching TV or whatever. So I'm super happy about that, and I love it. It's just a big wild riot of colors. It's so pretty. But it's just half double crochets, and it gives it a little bit of texture. But because I am using the G, I think I could probably gotten a closer fabric if I had gone down to maybe an E or an F. But and I do crochet loosely because I've been doing it so long. My gauge over the years has gotten a lot more relaxed. But I wanted it a little loose. I wanted it drapey. I didn't want this heavy, dense fabric. And I also wanted it to be a significant size. I didn't want to do all that work and have a lap blanket. So it is a little bit more open than you might expect, but that's okay. I know I've seen other projects with that yarn, and it's like usually like color work crochet projects and stuff like that, and they use like an E or an F hook. But I wanted a significant size, and I just wanted it simple. So I'm so glad that whoever invented the chainless foundations did that, because it's so easy to just keep going until you figure out how wide you want it, and then start your next row, as opposed to making a chain and then trying to work into the chain, which is a pain in the butt. I've always hated working into super long chains, and then come to find out it's not the right size, or you get a few rows in and your chain was too tight, and now your work is kind of flared out a little bit. So I love the foundation, the chainless foundation. So that's what I did with that. Very, very exciting. And this has been, I would say, maybe 3 evenings so far, because I just can't stop. I'm like, oh, just one more color, and then I'm going to do something else, or I'm going to get up and do the dishes, and 3 colors later, I'm still going. It's like M&Ms. You can't just have like 2. You have to have like 2 dozen. So that was that. That's one of the things that I got for myself, was that Sheepies, I'm saying it Sheepies, Katona mercerized cotton mini sets. The other thing that I got myself, and I just got this yesterday, I have been watching Colorful Creativity podcast for a while, and I've been following her on Instagram as well for quite a while, and I finally jumped in and decided I was going to get some yarn from her. She's in the Netherlands, which is why it took me so long to decide to get some of her yarn. But I did. I love her so much. She is just so fun. And she's got these cute, I don't know if they're hairless cats, or if they're just like, almost like I don't know what they're called, but they look kind of like they're hairless, but they've got like a fuzz. It's a light fuzz. I don't know what they are exactly, but then I know she said, but I don't remember. But this is her card, and she's got a drawing of one of the cats. It's adorable. I love it. I love her little logo. But it's Colorful Creativity by Crowleline. And what I got from her was she does a colorway called No Rainbows Without Rain. And so I ordered that because it is so pretty. It's this lovely gray, and then of course a rainbow. She's all about rainbows. And I'm going to open this now because I'm totally going to mess up her pretty skein. Oh, she's got white in there. I didn't even realize there's some white, which is cool. Okay, I'm opening this up. I'm sorry, I'm going to ruin the pretty skein. And let's see, this is her colorful sock base, 75% superwash, virgin wool, 25% nylon, 459 yards per 100 grams. So here we go. Let's open this up. Oh, it's so pretty. Oh, look at that. It's all the gray on one side and the rainbow on the other side. So that means this is going to give some micro striping. Oh, it's so beautiful. I love it. I love it. And this, I think I love the most. It's you're not really seeing it too much, I don't think, because my lighting is terrible. But this here is like between the orange and the white is like a couple of different reds. It goes from almost a true red to a really pretty bright pink. It's really, you're not seeing it the way that I'm seeing it, but there is a true red in there, and it's very fleeting in between the orange and the pink, but it's there, and it's just so pretty. It's really hard to get. I imagine it's hard to get a true red. It either wants to lean orangey or it wants to lean pinky, but it's there, and it's so, so pretty. Yeah, I'm never going to get this skein to look how she had it. But it's super pretty. And while I was going through her shop, I couldn't help myself. Couldn't help myself. I had to get, this is also on her colorful sock. This is called Dragon Fruit. Have you ever seen a dragon fruit? It's so pretty. It's got that outside pink, and it's sometimes it does have a little bit of this vibrant greeny yellow color on the skin, but in the outside, or I'm sorry, in the inside, the fleshy part of it is black and white. It's white with like black speckles. And that's what this is. It's so, so pretty. Oh, I don't want to open this one. No, I'm not going to open this one. I'm not going to do it. This one's too pretty. Well, the other one's pretty too, but I just wanted to see where the rainbow fell in the gray. This one I think is going to be just all over speckle, and I don't want to open it. But it's so pretty. It really does make me think of dragon fruit, and I love it. So that's what I got from her. And what she sent me this pretty little charm on one of the light bulb stitch marker thingies. And it says, thank you. Oh, my hands are shaking, sorry. So she sent me that little charm, and I love it. And she also sent, what did I do with it? I just had the darn thing. Oh, rats. I just had it. Oh, there it is. She sent me this. And this is a sock pattern by her. Rainbow Bridges. And it says everything that I've seen about this pattern as you would see it on Ravelry. The gauge, the size, the needles, the yarn, all of that stuff. But there's also a QR code here that I don't know. I haven't tried it. I'm going to. But I don't know if this is going to give you, if it's going to give me a link to the pattern with a discount, or it's just a link to view the pattern. I don't know. It doesn't really say one way or the other on here. But that is really cool. I love this pattern. And you can see this yarn is totally going to micro stripe. So it's very exciting. It looks like she's got ridges wherever the colors, wherever the rainbows happened. So stockinette, and then you've got some pearl bumps wherever the colors are. That's what it looks like here. Two different types of heels. So very exciting. I was not expecting this at all. So I don't know if it's an actual link to a pattern or to purchase a pattern, or if it's just a link to view the pattern. I'm not sure. But I was so happy I got that. It took a little bit to get here, but not actually as long as I had thought. And I did have to sign for it. This was the first package that I've ever gotten overseas that I've had to sign for. So that was interesting. But it's here, it's safe, and I love it. And then the other thing that I got for myself, I think I mentioned, I actually know that I mentioned how excited I was that Netflix was coming out with a mini series based on the book Watership Down by Richard Adams. I watched it. It was I think each episode was about just under an hour. I watched all 4 nonstop, totally binge watched it, and It was so good. It was just, it was so, so good. And I really want to watch the whole series again and again and again. I'm really hoping that it comes to DVD because I want so bad to own that. I just love it. It definitely wasn't quite as scary as the original 1978 version. But I think it really kept a lot of the integrity of the story, the feel of the story. And I like that it was longer than the original movie. I wish that it was a little bit longer even still, like maybe just another hour. I think that whole, there's the whole part where they're trying to get rescued from the other Warren that they're stuck in. And that is, to me, it could have been a little bit longer. I really enjoyed it. I know I was reading a lot of comments, and I really shouldn't read comments because it just kind of upsets me, but there was a lot of comments about the CGI not being up to par or whatever. And to me, it was wonderful. It wasn't like you've seen in other movies, more recent movies. It was just different, and I don't know if that was a money choice or a stylistic choice or what was going on with it, but I didn't mind it. To me, it was like, okay, you compare the animation from the 1978 film to this miniseries. Yes, there is a significant difference, and I feel like it was done really well. And I don't think that the movie was meant to be pretty. You know, it's not supposed to be pretty. It's dark, scary, harsh story. So, I mean, I think that the animation in and of itself, there could be better, but in relation to it with a story and the theme of it and everything, I think that it went really well, and I enjoyed it very much. I was worried that they were going to soften the story a little too much. They did soften it a little bit, but not to the point where it was just a soft story. It was still pretty dark, pretty scary, pretty intense. I've always thought that Bigwig was my favorite character. He still is. He's just amazing. I love Bigwig. And Kihar, the seagull. I love Kihar. He's just so crazy. I wish they had put a little bit more of the interaction that they had with Kihar. I think that's one of the places that they could have added a little bit more to the miniseries, because it really shows in the story the development of the friendship, where it was just not long enough in the miniseries to show how and why these rabbits are, how hard they make a friend out of this bird, and why the bird chooses to actually help them. But other than that, I think that it was a really wonderfully made miniseries, and it totally lived up to my expectations, and I was super, super happy, and I was just like a little kid. I was just so happy, and I'm definitely going to watch that again. But I told you all that over the years I've had several different several different paperbacks, and every time, you know, it just kind of wears out, I buy another one. I do still have this one. I've actually been really good. This is the one that I've had for a few years now. But my paycheck came, and I had a little bit of extra money, and I wanted to get something for myself besides yarn. So I went ahead and I only found these on, well, this particular one I only found on Amazon UK website. This one it was here on the US Amazon site, but I was actually looking for the other one, and I'll show that in a minute. But this is the first one. This is a very much bigger book, heavier. It's hardcover, and this is the illustrated version, and it's got so many pretty illustrations inside, and they're glossy, and it's just beautiful. And who does it say is the artist? Illustrations by Aldo Gali. It's so pretty. It's got a ribbon bookmark attached, it's heavy. It's just so beautiful. And even inside, it's just pretty. The golden foil on there. I love it. I love it. It's so pretty. But the one that I really wanted was this one for a couple of reasons. You all know that green is my favorite color. There it is. And look, this has a lot more of that golden foil embossing all over it. And it's so pretty. Oh, it's so pretty. And the cover feels like an old kind of cloth book. It just feels authentic. If that's the right word, I don't know, but it's just so pretty. It's beautiful. I love it. This doesn't have any illustrations or anything. It's just the binding that I fell in love with. And I love it. And there's a little excerpt on the back that says, look, that's the place for us. High, lonely hills where the wind and the sound carry and the ground is dry as straw in a barn. That's where we ought to be. That's where we have to get to. Oh, fiber. Oh, I love it. I kind of want to cry right now. It's so silly. I love this book. I love it. This was not very expensive at all, considering that they shipped all the way from the UK. So now I've got 3. What I really also want to get is, I do have these on audio, on CD. Can't remember where I put them right now. They're somewhere in that general area. But I do have them on audio. But I would also like to get what's called a play away. I keep going out of camera, sorry. I keep going out of camera. I apologize for that. But I do want to get, it's called a play away, which is basically the audiobook on a little audio device. You just put your headphones in and you listen to it. It's all there. And you can just put normal batteries in it. So I want to get me one of those. Yeah, I'm obsessed. It's okay. I love it and I'm not ashamed. So that was my gift to myself. The other thing that I got, this was, my son got me this for Christmas and I was super, super excited. I had mentioned to him that this is something that I really wanted and he went ahead and got it for me. It's called In the Footsteps of Sheep. And this is Debbie Zawinski. And it says, Tales of a Journey Through Scotland, Walking, Spinning, and Knitting Socks. So I've just started it. I'm in the middle of the first chapter. And I'm taking my time. I'm not trying to rush through this thing. But what it is basically is she goes on this walking, camping journey. She's got camping gear. And she's walking through Scotland. And along the way, she's just trying to interact with the sheep as they graze and roam and whatever. And picking up fluffs of their wool as it gets caught in fences or bushes or just happens to be in tufts on the ground. And she's just gathering this wool and taking her time. I can't remember if I've gotten to a part where it says how long her journey has taken. But she's basically gathering all this wool and keeping it breed specific. Wherever she's at, she's keeping that wool and spinning it. And that's one breed of yarn. And she's doing that all throughout her journey. And she's spinning the wool into yarn, and then she's using the yarn to make socks. So there are sock patterns in here as well. Here's a couple on the back. It's just so exciting. Here's a good one. And Ireland and Scotland are two places that I have always wanted to go. I don't know why. Ever since I was a little kid, I am not Irish. I don't have any Irish ancestry as far as I know. But it's always been something Ireland and Scotland I've just always been fascinated with. I don't know why. Everything about it just makes me happy. And I want so bad someday to go. But in the meantime, I've got this, and I'm hoping that I can, you know, I'm not going to have the yarn, the breed of fiber that she's using for her particular socks. I'm not going to have that. But I would like to make these socks as I'm reading it. So I'm going to take this very, very slowly and, you know, read about her journey and her spinning and her knitting. And then when I come to a pattern, I don't know if all her pattern, I don't know if the patterns are all in one place or if they're within each specific chapter. I don't know. Well, it looks like they're within specific chapters. Oh, look at that. Look at how pretty that is. I'm trying to not show the whole pattern, but it's just so pretty. And a lot of this is stuff that I probably wouldn't normally make because it's like color work. I don't care to do color work a whole lot, but I'm going to do it, you know. I'm going to do it. These are just so pretty. And there may be some sizing issues, and I think there's at least one pair of baby socks. I'll just make those just because. Obviously, they're not going to fit me. But I'm super happy with that book, that gift. But again, it's going to take me a long time to get through it because I really want to take my time with it and savor every bit of it. So very, very happy. I think I mentioned also, I'm changing gears again, sorry. I mentioned that I am growing out my undercut, and today is not quite as fuzzy. But I did mention that I wanted to start making hats to help me with the awkward phases when it starts getting really crazy. So I did start, I mentioned this yarn here that I got from Etsy, from the Chemnitz Creations. I love it so much. It's just so warm and brown and amazingly colorful. So what I did was I started the antler hat by Tin Can Knits, and I finished it. I made it shorter than what they said. I only did 5 repeats of the cabling, and I think they asked for 9 for my size, but I didn't, and I think that they wear it folded up in the picture. I didn't want to do that. I just wanted it to be just plain. I didn't want to fold it up, so I didn't do as many repeats since I wouldn't be folding it up. And I'm going to go ahead and put this on because I love it. And so what I want to do is get me a poof. I need to go to the Hobby Lobby and see if they have poofs. If not, I'll have to order one. But I don't know. I kind of have been leaning towards getting a white one, a white poof. But I don't know. Maybe I can find a brown or maybe a pink, because there's a lot of pinks and reds in here. That maybe a pink, a nice blush pink will look pretty on it. I still need to tuck in the ends, but whatever, that can wait. But I'm excited. I got a hat done, and I love, love, love the colors. And even though it's so wildly colorful, you can still see the cabling really well. Very pleased with it, and I would definitely make that hat again. Super excited. And this was 100 gram skein, and I used 49 grams. So I still have 51 left. I may make some mitts out of this with another worsted weight yarn. But I'm not sure about that quite yet. We'll see. So it is the end of the year. January is almost upon us, 2019, and tomorrow is my birthday. My birthday is New Year's Eve, so tomorrow I will be turning 47. You would think, I know a lot of people, the closer they get to 50, the scarier that is for them, but I'm not scared about my age. I'm actually embracing it. I'm happy. I think it was harder for me to turn 30 than it was turning 40, and now that I'm almost 50, it's not anything. I don't feel like, oh my God, I'm almost 50. I think what freaks me out more is that my daughter's almost 30. It's not so much in relation to my age. It's just, sorry, that's weird. I just had like a bra moment, very uncomfortable bra moment. Sorry. But I think it just freaks me out that I have a daughter who's almost 30. And like I said, not because of how old that makes me. It's just strange to me. I mean, I want my baby back. Where's the little tiny girl? Where's the little child at? She's not a child anymore. She's a grown-ass woman. And it's weird to me. It's just so strange. My son, one of my sons is 20. God, that's crazy. He's gonna be 20, and my other son is about to be 18. It's just, where is the time gone? Where has my little kids, where did they disappear to? I don't even understand. So it's kind of freaking me out in that respect. But as for myself, I'm not, you know, I'm not upset that I'm almost 50. So to celebrate my birthday and the new year, I decided to do a couple of knit-alongs, or to join in a couple of knit-alongs. I'm not doing them. I'm not hosting them or anything. But I decided I wanted to be a part of a couple of shawl knit-alongs. The first one that I decided to do was, I do watch the Gentle Knitter podcast, and she, on her Ravelry, she is doing the Hedge Witch shawl knit-along. And I'll put the name of the pattern here and the designer, because I can't remember the designer's name at the moment. And this is a worsted weight, and they called for a 5mm needle, and I decided to go up because I don't know if this is if my yarn is actually not a worsted, but it's more of an Aran, but it looks better on a 5.5mm, a US 9. So that's what I'm going with. I just started this a few days ago, and it's really hard to see because I decided to do it in the darkest yarn I have. But you can see it almost looks, I don't know, to me this texture looks, it makes me think of peacock feathers. I don't know why, but it does. So that's what I got going. And this is a really interesting pattern to me because most patterns you have the lace, which is worked in the front, and then on the back side you have your rest row and you purl all the way across. This is opposite. This is a kind of lace. It's but all of the important stuff happens on the purl side to be seen on this side. All of this texture that you're seeing on the front actually happens and is worked on the purl side. Your rest row is in the front, and it's just knit all the way across. It's very interesting, and it's kind of cool because you get to your rest row and you just knit. You know, for most people the knit is a lot easier and more fun than doing an entire huge row of purls. So in that respect, I really, really, really enjoy it. The hard part for me is knowing how to line up, to make sure that my stitches are lining up, because I can't see it if I'm looking at the back side. You can't tell from the back where your stitches are. It's a little bit difficult. Excuse me, I pulled this out and my nose started itching. Strange. But it's hard, so I have to look every now and then and kind of, you know, as I'm knitting it like this, I kind of have to like look this way and see, to make sure that my stitches are lining up where they should, which is fine, but it did take me 3 full repeats to figure that out. Because I was trying to just rely on memorizing and chanting in my head. Apparently that wasn't working for me because I had to rip it out like I don't know how many times. So finally I was like, just check every once in a while to make sure that you're doing good. So that actually works better for me, to just go ahead and stop every few stitches and just make sure I'm on track. And it's been going going really well. So I'm super, super excited. And this is going to be, once I get to the right number of stitches, it's so pretty. I just love this texture. Like, I love it. But once you get to a certain size, I'm gonna start doing, excuse me, I'm gonna start doing garter stitch rows, and it's in a contrast color. Well, I am using Just Stash, and I didn't have enough worsted in any one particular color for the yardage amount needed for the contrast color. So what I'm doing is I'm gonna stripe these two in the garter. So I'll have one garter ridge in this color, one garter ridge in this color, you know, all the way down that section. And I think it'll work well. I think it'll be fun. And I think that it's going to look really, really pretty with the green, with the solid green. So this is my color palette for my Hedge Witch shawl. And I'm super, super excited about it. I'm very, very excited. Doing really well. Now that I'm on track with how to work the stitches, it's just going so smoothly and I am in love. There's that one. And then I decided yesterday, I think, I literally started this yesterday, this other one that I'm going to show you. I just started it yesterday because I was watching the Fiber Tales podcast, and she had been talking about a design that she had been working on for a while, and test knitters and whatnot. And she was wearing this shawl that she had just designed, and I fell in love with it like instantly. But I didn't have enough yarn in any one color in the size that she recommended. She said light fingering, a fingering or light fingering, and I didn't have anything in any one particular color, but I do have 5 skeins of this natural cream color 100% yak that I got. I know I keep going out of camera. Sorry. It's yak that I got from Bijou Basin Ranch, I think it's called. And I had 5 skeins of this because I always have wanted something highly textured in a natural, neutral color. And so I bought this, and it's been sitting there for a few months. I didn't know what I was going to do with it. Wasn't sure. It's a sport weight. Now, the pattern is called Huldbear, and I'll put it up here because it is not spelled at all like it sounds. I think she's from Denmark. I think. But the yardage for the fingering weight version that she's got is just over 1,300 yards. And I have just over 1,500 yards in the sport weight. So instead of the US 4 needle for the fingering, I went up to a US 6. A 6 is a 4.0 millimeter. I went up to that. So the yarn is bigger, the needle is bigger, and I have at least 200 more yards than what the pattern calls for in the fingering weight. So I'm thinking I'm going to have enough. I'm hoping I'm going to have enough, but if push comes to shove, I think I can go back to Bijou Basin. I always say that wrong. Bijou Basin Ranch online and get another skein of this. I hope. There may have to be some working the 2 strands together to incorporate the next skeins, but that's fine. That's what I got to do anyway, because even though they're all undyed natural, I mean, there's going to be variations in it anyway. But this is where I'm at so far, and I had just started a row, so excuse that part of it, but this is it. And this is another highly textured pattern. These are popcorns, and they are so fun to make. I was like worried like this was going to just be the worst thing ever to do, but once I figured out how to purl backwards without turning my project, it went smoothly. So this here is the center line, and she uses lifted increases, which I've never done before, and I actually really like it. So it's really, really pretty. And then she's got a really beautiful, and I'll put a picture here too, a really beautiful added on border, knitted on border, and it's just, I fell in love with it. I fell in love. I think the only thing that I may or may not do, depending on the yardage, are the tassels that she's got at the end. So I don't know. I'm not sure if if the tassels are gonna happen, but the popcorns are so fun to do, and the knitted on border is just so pretty. I can't wait to get to that part. And I do know that knitted on borders take a long time, so I'm expecting that. So I'm not gonna be like crazy surprised. I'm like, oh my god, this is taking forever. I already know it's gonna take forever. But what I was saying about the popcorns is the way that she has you do them is that, you know, you gotta, I think it's the same thing with all nups and popcorns and baubles and knitting. You gotta, you know, make a bunch of stitches out of one stitch and then turn it around and knit back the other way, or purl back, or however they want you to do it, and then bring them all together and then turn your work and work forward again. I decided, because a long time ago I did learn how to knit and purl without turning my work. This was way back when I was learning how to do interlock knitting, and all of that turning was just annoying. So I learned how to knit going back across or purl going back across your row without ever having to turn your work. So there's not a whole lot of this going on. So I thought I was going to try that. It's been years since I've done it. And so I thought I'm going to go ahead and try that with this. And it's been working out perfectly. I figured out how to hold my yarn and my tension and purl the 3 stitches together without turning my work. So it's gone a lot faster than I think if I had been turning every 5 stitches. There's 5 stitches in between each popcorn. I think if I had had to flip that every single time with all of these, I would have just been like, no, not doing it. But because I did figure out how to do it without turning my work, it's gone by so fast, and it's turning out so pretty. And this yarn it's just showing the stitches really, really well, and I am super excited. Ooh, I am very happy with it. I can't wait to get to the knitted on border. So happy. So I'm definitely not going to get either of these done by the new year, but hopefully by the first, maybe second week, it'll be done. I'm on vacation right now. I have to go back to work on the 1st because that's the only day that they wouldn't give me off. And then I'll have another 10 days after that I'm off. So I'm going to definitely get both of these done before I have to go back to work again on the 11th of January. But it's just a staycation. I'm just staying at home. I'm not going anywhere, doing anything special. And I'm definitely not going to be doing anything special for my birthday. I never have. It's not so much an age thing for me. It's just I've never really been into celebrating my birthday. And I think that has something to do with the fact that I am born on New Year's Eve. And it almost feels like I got gypped because I don't feel like the celebration is about me, and like everybody's celebrating the new year, and oh yeah, it's my birthday too. It's just always been a weird little thing for me ever since I was little. And celebrating my birthday has never been a big thing for me. And it's not like I'm sad about it. It's just, I just don't get overly thrilled about it. So I'm definitely, and not to mention, you know, it's so wild on New Year's. There's so many people out and about and doing all of the fun things, and it's just so many people out and about. I don't like crowds. I don't like a lot of noise. So I'm going to sit at home, and I'm going to have my feet up, and I'm going to have my knitting out, and I'm going to sit here with my cat, and then I'm going to go to bed early because I have to go to work on the 1st. But that's all right. My son has to work, but he's coming later today. We're going to go see a movie, and he's going to take me to dinner to celebrate my birthday. So that's going to be really fun. I don't know where we're going to go see it. I think he wants to see Aquaman, which I'm not going to say no to Aquaman. So that's what we're going to do. Yeah, next time you see me, it will be January in 2019. I don't know how things are going to work this coming year. I'm thinking that I may just start doing this as a every other week podcast as opposed to every week. I found that I like doing it every week. However, I don't always have a lot done to show you every week. It's kind of like 3 weeks of the same thing. Oh, look, I'm still working on this. Yeah, well, I'm still working on this. So I'm thinking I may just do it every other week. We'll see how that goes. And if I decide that I want to pop on sooner than that, so be it. But I think that I'm going to definitely try to make this more of a every other week kind of thing. Excuse me. I think that I want to really consider not buying yarn for real this time, because I really do want to go to, there's a knitting retreat that Kate from Hawthorne Craft Cottage, and I can't remember the other lady's name from Woolly Mammoth. They're hosting a retreat in Ireland, and I'm hoping that I am one of the lucky people who gets to go. I have the money, and it's far enough in advance that I can get the time off. It's just going to be, it's very limited space, so we'll see if I can get in on time to get that. But that's also going to mean that I'm going to have to save a lot of money for the flight, because, yeah, it's not going to be cheap. Plus, I'm going to want spending money and whatever. And also, I don't know if I've mentioned it, but at some point in my life, I'm hoping sometime in 2020, I would love to go on a cruise, preferably a knitting cruise, but we'll see. And again, that's all going to take money, and I'm going to have to save up for all of that. And the easiest way for me to save money is to stop buying yarn, and I really don't need yarn. And now that I think that I have a focus as to why I don't need to buy yarn, I have a purpose for this money, it will be easier for me to save and to resist. And I think that that's also going to mean I'm going to have to unsubscribe from a lot of the email newsletters that I get from dyers, and that's so sad. But I have to do it. I have to find ways to stay focused, because I do want to do these things. And I don't want to say, well, now I can't go because I didn't save enough money. And and then I would have nobody to blame but myself. So I'm really going to focus on that. I have a purpose. I have a reason behind it. And it's not just because, oh, it's a new year and I want to go on a yarn diet, because as we've seen this last year, that doesn't work. For me anyway. So I have a reason this time, and I really want to stick with that, because I don't want to have that regret, you know, that I didn't get to go. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to try really, really hard to stick by it. And I'm really optimistic about it. I think it's going to work. I think I can make this happen. So I'm super excited. And yeah, that's going to be my new year. And I hope that you all will join me for another year of podcasting. And I am I'm thankful for everybody who has been watching me, anybody who's new, who's just starting to watch me. I'm so thankful. And I really appreciate that you all take a little bit of time out of your day to spend it with me. And I hope that we can continue this wonderful little relationship that we got going on, and I will see you all in 2019. And so Happy New Year to all of you, and see you next time. Bye.